an independent analysis of European defense capabilities and strategic policy.
The integration of the Lynx KF-41 platform into the Italian Army inventory marks a pivotal correction in Rome's land warfare doctrine. It signals a departure from the expeditionary focus that has characterized Italian defense planning for the better part of 3 decades. While the recent handover of the first vehicles by the Leonardo-Rheinmetall military vehicles joint venture might appear to be a standard procurement milestone, a systemic analysis suggests it represents a fundamental restructuring of Italian ground maneuver capabilities. This transition, moving from a legacy fleet relying heavily on the aging Dardo infantry fighting vehicle to a modern, heavier platform, indicates a tacit acknowledgement. It is an acknowledgement that the post-Cold War era of low-intensity stabilization missions is effectively over, where the security architecture of Europe now demands assets capable of surviving high-intensity, peer-to-peer conflict. This is a requirement that necessitates significant trade-offs between national industrial autonomy, budgetary efficiency, and operational immediacy. From an operational standpoint, the shift toward the Lynx KF-41 addresses a critical capability gap. This gap has widened significantly as the geopolitical environment in Europe has deteriorated. The Dardo platform, fielded during the 1980s and lacking the modular armor necessary to withstand modern anti-tank guided munitions, effectively limited the Italian army. It restricted forces to a defensive posture in theoretical high-intensity scenarios. By adopting the Lynx, Italy moves toward a heavier armored profile. This reverses the previous trend, which favored wheeled 8x8 platforms like the Freccia and Centauro. Those vehicles were optimized for strategic mobility and peacekeeping operations in Africa or the Middle East, rather than mechanized warfare on the European continent. However, this reorientation toward tracked heavy armor introduces substantial logistical complexities. The introduction of a German-designed chassis powered by Liebherr engines, entering a logistics chain historically dominated by Iveco and Fiat powertrains, will likely require a reconfiguration of maintenance protocols. It creates a period of transitional friction within the support elements of the Italian army. The industrial structure of this program, formalized through the Leonardo-Rheinmetall military vehicles joint venture, highlights a pragmatic recalibration. It is a recalibration of the concept of strategic autonomy. For decades, the Italian defense industry maintained a policy of developing complete sovereign platforms to sustain domestic engineering capabilities. The decision to utilize a German hull and propulsion system while integrating Italian mission systems and the hit-fist turret architecture suggests that Rome has accepted the limits of its domestic economies of scale. Developing a new tracked infantry fighting vehicle from scratch would likely have required a development cycle of 10 to 15 years. That is a timeline strategically untenable given the current velocity of threat evolution in the Mediterranean and Eastern Europe. Consequently, the program prioritizes the speed of fielding and the assurance of mature technology over the comprehensive nationalization of the production cycle. This hybrid approach, often described as the Italianization of the platform, allows Leonardo to retain sovereignty over the most sensitive aspects of the vehicle. Specifically, the command and control architecture, targeting sensors, and electronic warfare suites. By controlling the neural network of the vehicle, Italy ensures that the Lynx can be integrated seamlessly into its proprietary network-enabled capability digital command structure. If the chassis is the hardware, the mission system is the software that defines the vehicle's utility in the field. This division of labor preserves the high-value engineering jobs at La Spezia and maintains Italian intellectual property in the domains of optronics and turret mechanics. Nevertheless, reliance on a foreign partner for the automotive baseline implies that Italy's ability to export these vehicles independently will be subject to German export control regulations. This introduces a layer of diplomatic complexity to future foreign sales campaigns. Financially, the program represents a substantial commitment. Estimates place the total value near 15 billion euros over the life cycle of the fleet, encompassing acquisition and long-term sustainment. This expenditure occurs within a constrained fiscal environment where the Italian defense budget is simultaneously pressured by the global combat air program and naval modernization efforts. Through the allocation of such significant resources to the land domain suggests a rebalancing of inter-service budget priorities. It implies that the Italian General Staff views the degradation of land maneuver capability as a more immediate strategic risk than previously calculated. The ability to sustain this funding level will depend heavily on the continued political will to meet NATO spending targets. It also depends on the efficient management of the 60% domestic work share to demonstrate economic return on investment to the Italian taxpayer. On a geopolitical level, the alignment with Rheinmetall signals a subtle but perceptible pivot in Italy's alliance management within the European defense industrial base. By solidifying a partnership with German industry for its heavy armor requirements, encompassing both the Lynx and potentially the Panther main battle tank in the future, Rome is establishing a robust industrial axis with Berlin. This moves in parallel to, and perhaps competes with, the sluggish Franco-German main ground combat system project. It suggests that Italy is unwilling to tie its operational readiness to the complex and often delayed political negotiations between Paris and Berlin. Instead, the procurement of the Lynx offers a tangible, off-the-shelf solution. It creates a de facto standard for the Italian army that is interoperable with other Central European users of Rheinmetall platforms, thereby enhancing cohesion on NATO's flanks. The timeline of the program, aiming for rapid entry into service, forces a compression of the testing and evaluation phase. While the platform itself is mature, or the integration of Italian-specific subsystems carries technical risk. The interface between the Leonardo-designed turret and the Rheinmetall chassis must be flawless to ensure the vehicle performs as a unified weapon system, rather than a disjointed assembly of parts. Past procurement programs in various European nations have demonstrated that modifying off-the-shelf platforms with sovereign subsystems often leads to unforeseen software integration challenges and delays. The success of the Army Armored Combat System program will effectively be measured by how quickly these integration hurdles can be overcome to reach initial operational capability. Ultimately, the procurement of the Lynx KF-41 is an exercise in strategic risk management. It trades absolute industrial independence for operational relevance. It exchanges the familiarity of an all-domestic supply chain for the performance characteristics of a best-in-class international platform. This decision reinforces the reality that for medium-sized powers like Italy, maintaining a full spectrum of top-tier domestic defense capabilities is becoming increasingly difficult. It is a challenge in an era of rapid technological advancement and rising unit costs. The resulting force structure will be more lethal and better protected, but also more interdependent with allied industrial bases. It anchors Italian land power firmly within a collective European framework rather than a purely national one. The efficacy of this strategy will depend not on the technical specifications of the vehicle itself, but on the ability of the Italian military establishment to adapt. And they must adapt their doctrine and logistics to support a heavier, more complex mechanized force in a sustainable manner.